Welcome to the first Walk This Way weekly wrap up. It may be the last, I don't know. I'm just not going to guarantee that we're going to do this every single week without fail. But at least we're here right now. And this is going to be an action packed, jam packed stream. I got three main topics that I want to cover. I want to talk about China prophetically and their involvement in everything that we're expecting. I want to talk about prophetic storms and these natural storms that we've been seeing and what they signify. And lastly, we're going to talk about specific cryptocurrencies. I've had some new dreams recently. I've had some new dreams shared with me. And so this is going to be a very insightful stream. Click the like button, share it with somebody you think might be interested in this content, and say hello in the chat. Hello, Octavia. Good to see you. Also, let me know if the mic is not good, if we got any issues with the sound or anything like that. Let me adjust this light. I think we'll turn this one off too. Hello, Michonne. Hello, Faustino. Hello, Yvonne. Yeah, we were having mic problems last time, and I think I found the culprit. Streaming through Google Meet, they have an auto denoiser built into it, and I had it on, so I turned it off. So next time I stream through Google Meet, that should fix the issue. But we'll see. Hello, Shine. Hello, Old Rounder Bro. Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Nubia. JJJ. Henry, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a minute. This is going to be a jam-packed stream. What's up, Jamal? Okay, good. You can hear me clearly. What is up, Marcus Williams? Stole my name. Hello, Anointed Flowers. Wande. I gave you a shout out yesterday in the members section, Wande, for the Bible plan. I see you going strong. Kay Lily, hello. Margaret. Cool. Sounds like the audio is good. Sounds like we're doing good. So as I said in the intro, if you didn't hear it, we're going to be talking about China prophetically and their significance and everything that we're expecting. We're going to be talking about prophetic storms, these storms that we're seeing in the natural and what they signify. And we're going to be talking about some specific cryptocurrencies. We're going to save the best for last, not necessarily the best, but obviously I know that that's what people are itching most to hear about. What's the new revelation on this or that coin, And I'll probably give some memberships at the very end if YouTube lets me this time, because y'all know last time we tried, YouTube was having technical difficulties. So hopefully they let me. Who else? Hello, Henry. Thank you for subscribing. New subscriber. Hello, comma. It's Triple J. Okay, my bad. Excuse me. I mean, you should change it to literally Triple J. Spell it out, Jonathan, what's going on, bro? Bambi. Yeah, one day had to encourage you. Your live sound and connection is excellent. Okay, good. I mean, I'm streaming straight through YouTube right now, and I think I found what the issue was, and it was the automatic noise cancellation in Google Meet, I think. So I turned that off since my mic already does noise cancellation. And so I think that's why it was so choppy and coming in and out, because it was like a double noise cancellation going on. So next time we stream through Google Meet, it should be fixed. YouTube was hating from the outside. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start. The first topic, we're going to talk about China first. Okay, and I'm going to open up with this dream that was shared with me a couple of days ago. This was shared with me in Discord by one of the channel members in the Discord. So, consider joining. There's a lot of connection going on in the Discord. Sometimes when I post updates on the community tab, like news updates, A lot of times it's coming from the Discord. That's where I'm getting notified first. But anyway, so here's the dream. I'm going to read through it first. It says, "Hey, bro, just wanted to share this dream with you. I had it on the 26th of September. Now, note this person is not in the US, they're overseas. So their date is a little bit ahead of mine. But it says, the morning after I woke up, you posted a community post asking if anyone had a crypto dream last night. I didn't think it was a coincidence. I woke up at 2:22 a.m., which is a number I've talked about recently. The Holy Spirit said to me, pay attention and listen to my words. I replied, yes, Lord, what do you want to show me? I went to sleep. I had a dream that I was standing in a courtyard. Let me zoom in so you can see a little better. I had a dream that I was standing in a courtyard with Marcus from the YouTube channel Walk This Way. We were both standing there with various other people. We were standing in front of a billboard and it had the words, we will be billionaires, but it wasn't spelled directly like that. I can't properly remember the details of how it was spelled. It was like one of those clever marketing advertisements. On this billboard, there was also a graph slash drawing that showed the future movement of the market. The graph was showing a rise and then a big crash. I saw the words China above the crash part of the drawing. I knew in the dream after the crash that it would be the start of the wealth transfer. I also saw the end dates of this September written above this drawing on the billboard. Marcus Williams saw this, got excited, and called someone on the phone. I remember him saying, this is it. This is the revelation we've been waiting for. I was then thrown into a vision within this dream. In the vision, I saw a battlefield and there were all these Egyptian dressed looking people. I knew they were the Josephs that had just been released slash raised up. I saw horse chariots running towards the Josephs, and the Josephs were running out against them. However, the Josephs were being defeated because they were facing these chariots on their own. I saw a single Joseph trying to defeat a chariot all on their own. I then started to shout out to them and said, use wisdom. In my mind, within the dream, was the strategy of working together in unity to defeat the chariots. Chariots, I know, represented the enemy. Afterwards, I woke up with the almost audible voice of the Lord saying to me, arise, Joseph, and listen to my words. Okay, now this is a strong dream. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna get into it. Hello, Matt Stockton. Hello, Dropout. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I well, the audio is good now because I'm streaming directly through YouTube, but I think I also found the issue when streaming through Google Meet as well, which was their auto noise cancellation feature. So my mic was doing noise cancellation. Google Meet was also doing noise cancellation on top of it, and I think that's what the issue was. Now I'm going to pull up my community tab real quick because I want to show or reference the post that he's talking about. Because he said he woke up, he had the dream, and then woke up to the post that I had made. And it was just a poll. Did you happen to have a crypto dream last night? This morning, someone left a comment telling me they had an unexpected crypto dream, and so did I. So I had a dream that night, and we're gonna talk about that later in the live stream. And I woke up and somebody had left a comment saying they had a dream, and so I was just wondering, hey, has anyone else had a dream? And so this brother had a dream, and then someone else in the comments right here, they said, yes, I did. It is so crazy that you are polling, as I nearly forgot about the dream until I saw your poll. Okay, so it's funny because I had this comment on the poll, and it was an ignorant comment. And normally I don't give the ignorance any energy, but every now and then I feel like you need to address ignorance. Every now and then people need to be confronted with their ignorance, and maybe that will help them see it for what it is and change, right? In Proverbs, it says, answer a fool according to his it's two verses right next to each other. The first verse says, "Don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll basically be brought down to his level." And then the very next verse is, "Answer a fool according to his foolishness, or else he'll be wise in his own eyes." So essentially, what it's saying is you got to use wisdom. Sometimes you don't give a fool any time of day. You don't give ignorance any time of day. Other times you should answer it uh, to give a chance for correction, right? And so I had this comment on that poll asking people if they had a dream. And as you can see, I had a reason for asking, right? I had a dream, someone else had a dream, etc. And these are significant dreams. And they're like, "Oh, well, if you're obsessed with crypto, well, then you're more likely to have a dream and this, that, and the other. Are you more concerned about crypto or God's heart, Marcus?" Okay, my very first video in this community 2 years ago, October 2022, literally spoke about and warned about being too fixated on crypto and that bleeding into your dreams. So clearly, this is something I understand. Clearly, this is something I'm aware about and I'm careful about. Okay. And so, some people, and this is someone who's posted ignorant things before, and I just don't understand this thing that certain people do where they don't like someone or they argue with someone, they disagree with someone, but they keep watching them. I don't get it. When I don't agree with someone, when I think someone's wrong, most of the time, you can disagree here and there and keep watching, of course. But if you're always against someone, when that's me, and their video pops up on my feed, I click the little menu button. I click do not suggest this channel. And then I don't worry about them anymore. But then there's some weird people. And it's not even weird. I don't want to belittle it or oversimplify it. It's demonic. You're actually a monitoring spirit. That's literally what you are. You're not for this person. You are watching them to keep tabs on them and to cause issues with what they're saying, to disagree and stir up strife. That is a monitoring spirit. So certain people need to get deliverance. If you're watching me now and you disagree with me and you're only watching me because you disagree with me, please seek the Lord in that. Okay. Yes, AP, there is a button you can push which says don't recommend this channel. You just go to the when you're on your feed, every video has a little three dots menu button. You just click that. Don't recommend this channel. That's it. But back to the dream. All right. So he had it at 2:22. I was in the dream. We're standing in front of a billboard that says we will be billionaires, but it's presented in a clever kind of marketing advertisement kind of way. Now, I know that I'm called to business, and I told this person, I don't know if that's what you're called to, but the whole marketing thing makes sense. That is part of business. And when it comes to not only generating wealth but then multiplying wealth, you got to think about how are you going to multiply wealth? Because we're not just trying to generate wealth here. We're trying to multiply and preserve as well. So we're not just trying to get the first, have the master give us the 5 talents, if you will, and then sit on it, right? What are you doing after that to then multiply? And so there's that part. Now he sees a graph on the billboard showing the future movement of the market. And there's a rise and then a big crash, something I've talked about, something I'm sure others have talked about. And they saw the words China above the crash part of the drawing. Okay. And they said after the crash would be the start of the wealth transfer. Now, what's interesting about the China part is what this person doesn't know. Remember, I woke up to this dream being shared with me. They don't know that the night before, when I went to sleep, somebody called me somebody in the community called me specifically to talk prophetically about China in relation to the wealth transfer. So somebody calls me at night, talks about China. I go to sleep and then I wake up to this dream from a completely different person. Okay, so they saw the words China above the crash part. I got excited, called someone on the phone. Maybe that signifies the person who called me the night before, because once this dream was shared with me, I sent a snippet of it, a small portion, the China portion of it, to that person. So that could have already played out, or it could represent what we're doing right now. Me communicate, calling, communicating, me sharing with you all. Then there was a vision concerning Joseph. So Josephs were being raised up, coming out of Egypt. Chariots were coming against them. Josephs were going to fight the chariots, but they were doing it alone in their own strength, one on one, right? So it speaks to the need for community. It speaks to the need for. I think we've talked about this in this community, right? I think this is a great time to plug the Discord, right? I mean, a membership to the channel, and I'm not asking for money. I don't need you to join for the money aspect of it, right? But speaking of money, it's $3 a month. If you're a member, let me know if you think the channel membership is worth the $3 a month. Just let me know in the chat. But it's $3 a month. I mean, and you get members only videos, some other perks, but the Discord has a lot of value, because now you're not just receiving from one person. I'm only one person. Now you got other prophetic people giving their input. I've made connections in the Discord that help bolster what I share with you. There are security experts in there, people in different aspects, different industries, people who are prophetic. Just the other day, and I'm going to talk about this later when we get into specific coins, but I don't have a price point for Luna. Okay, Luna Classic. I own it, but I don't have a specific price point. So I just randomly posted in the Discord, hey, what is the highest price point that you have heard for Luna Classic that you actually believe will happen? And multiple people told me prophetically that they believe it will return to $120. And I was like, oh wow, that is very significant. But we'll talk more about Luna Classic later in the live stream. But the community aspect, the last part of the dream, right? Not trying to do this on our own, not trying to do this alone. Strength in numbers, right? A three-stranded cord is not easily broken, as scripture says, right? And I think there is a lot of lone wolf stuff. I think even in the back of people's minds, they may not consciously realize this, but their mindset is, I'm in a community now and I'm receiving from different people in the community who's helping my insight and my perspective of how this is going to play out. But once those profits start coming, I'm on my own. I got to start executing. I got to start doing this and that. I'm on my own. I'm following my own plan, right? And I have stressed having your own unique plan. Yes, that is important, but that doesn't mean you have to do things alone. I've reached out to Pastor Keith like, hey, when you go to London for the dinar, let me know. I'm trying to come too. You know what I'm saying? Like make these connections, it's important. And you don't have to do it alone. And a big purpose of this wealth is building the kingdom and building a kingdom economy and building a kingdom society and taking reign on the 7 different spheres of influence in society. And that requires integration and unity and connection. And while we're on the topic of unity, I'm just going to say, if you follow someone who you've never seen unity come from this person, why are you following them? If you follow someone who's constantly attacking other people in the community, why are you following them? If you're following someone who's never been on someone else's channel, never had someone else on their channel, never spoken positively of someone else in the community, just never see unity, you only see disunity come from them, why are you following them? I'm not going to name names, but I'm thinking of someone specific. Why? Unity is what is needed. Okay. Let me look at the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. There was a black screen. During what part? Was it when I went back to the dream? I like the way Apostle Tommy put it, wealth is not a reward, it is a responsibility. Yeah. It's like I've said, with the whole what is it? The whole being a billionaire thing. Like, why do you need to be a billionaire? What is the purpose in you being a billionaire? It's not just about getting rich, and just doing what you want with it. There needs to be a purpose attached to it. And there was no graph showing Henry. It was just I was just back on I'm sorry. I was just back on, and I'm using YouTube again. So I got to get used to the different platforms that I stream through. But this is all I was on. I dreamt about going to a store with my family post a flood, and everything in the store was Chinese products with labels in Chinese. I remember seeing walks and being so confused. Yeah, people are saying, the membership is worth it, the values in the community. Um, yeah. So, you really can't beat it. To be honest, $3, like you really can't beat what you get for $3. Just keeping it real. Um, yeah, so here's the screen I was on. My apologies for that, y'all. Just getting used to running this through YouTube again. Um, so let me go back. I got my outline here, you know what I'm saying? So we're still on China. So that's that for this dream, okay? Significant dream, billionaires, like don't overlook the fact that the dreamer and myself were standing there, but there were other various people, right? Maybe that's you. Okay. So it wasn't just me and the dreamer or the dreamer and me. There were other people. Now, moving on to the phone call that I got the night before concerning China. Old Rounder Bro, welcome to the channel membership. Um, so I'm not at liberty to share all the details of what was shared with me because it's not my revelation and it's coming from someone in the community. So I'm going to give them, um, you know, the opportunity or the say so and when they share it. But essentially, they were talking to me about China. They have received clear revelation and confirmation from the Lord concerning China, and some significance tied to their economy, which obviously is going to tie into world economy, is going to tie into the wealth transfer, everything we're talking about. Okay. And so they were specifically talking about certain stocks going down in China. And what's funny is right now, let me pull this up. Right now, just a few days after this person shares these dreams and revelations with me. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Let me make sure it's not a black screen. Okay. Right now, China's stock markets are partying like it's 2008. China investors FOMO sets up stocks for best week since 2000. Okay. Catch this brother shares with me this revelation about China. And then 2 days later, China's stock market is having its best week since 2008. Okay. But what the brother shared with me in the dream, that he shared with me the next morning, and part of what was shared with me in the phone call the night before, is we can expect this to come down. It's like a setup, man. It's like a setup. Everything looks great. Everything looks sweet. Everybody's going to buy in, and then they're going to pull the rug out. Okay. And I feel the same thing is going to happen with our stock market and our economy. It's gonna go up sharply and come down sharply. So the wisdom in that is to be prepared. The wisdom in that is to be prepared. If I were speaking wisdom to myself, right? Because I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not telling you what to do. You do as you feel led. But if I were speaking wisdom to myself, I would say, Marcus, don't wait too long before taking profits in this upcoming. I mean, it's the market's about to run any day. I think it's literally waiting for October to hit, but it's about to run any day now. Okay. Don't wait too long before taking profits. Maybe exercise stop loss limits. Okay. And make sure you have your buy limit orders in for the low prices when it falls. Right. Those are the three things I would tell myself. Because I personally, I'm tired of watching these things run and thinking, oh, this could be it. This could be the time where the prophetic numbers get hit, only to see it stop and slowly come back down. And if Crypto Knight was on here right now, he'd be saying amen, right? Okay. I'm tired of that, right? So I'm taking profits this time. I'm not gonna sell everything at a little bit of profit, but I'm selling something. You can believe that. I'm taking some kind of profits. Okay. Don't wait too long because I believe, and I'm saying this to me because I'm not a financial advisor. I believe it's going to drop down quickly, significantly. And the Praise Zero Two, I watched her video recently about the Eiffel Tower. It was a good video. And that's what her dream is, her video was saying. It's going to go up and drop down. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. Like Shiba Inu yesterday. Yeah, different things have been taking turns running, Different it's like what I said in the members live stream yesterday was like it's like October is the start line and the market is just trying not to false start. And so it's like so anxious and eager. It's ready to go, right? But it's just like staying, it's showing signs of running, but it's not going too hard yet. So China, a couple weeks ago, I made a post. I said, keep an eye on Russia, Italy, and Japan. You can add China to that. Okay, so now I want to talk about security, but we're still on China right now. This is still the China portion of the live stream, and I want to share a dream. I haven't shared this dream yet. Okay, I haven't shared this dream with you yet. I mentioned it on a community post earlier in the year when I had it, but I didn't actually share the dream. I'm gonna share it now. And it's about security, cybersecurity, digital security. Okay. I'm just gonna read it off of my notes app. All right. So this was June 4th. June 4th. Says this morning I dreamt that I was at some type of gathering with familiar people in the dream. These aren't people who are familiar in real life, but in the dream, they felt familiar. However, at one point, I put my phone down on the table, and when I came back to it, it had been stolen. I didn't think my Find My iPhone app was enabled, but later on, I realized it was. I was able to see where my phone was and even able to see that whoever had it now had taken pictures with it. I recognized a man in the pictures who was at the gathering. So I walked up to him and I asked him who took that picture of him. And I showed him the pictures. He said Nicole took the pictures, who was apparently his sister in law, who was only about 30 feet away from us. So I walked up to Nicole and she already knew why I was approaching her and she handed over my phone. She was laying down with her husband, so they were like on a cot, they were like in a corner of this room. There were a couple of cots set up and they were laying on a cot together. She was laying down with her husband. I just said, thank you for my phone and walked away. So I didn't cause a scene. I didn't, go off. I just said thank you and walked away. Now, later, I had another dream, and I believe these two dreams are connected. It says, I had another dream where it seemed like I was being warned to cut off any access to my bank account by third party applications. I was being told in the dream that thieves could siphon money out of the account through these third party app connections. There was also a point where I was seeing the Motorola symbol which caused me to wake up and research the symbolism behind Motorola's logo. The Motorola part of the dream was also connected to security and protecting yourself. During my research, I found that Motorola seems to now be owned by a China based company, Lenovo. So I was seeing Motorola in the end of this dream, and Motorola is owned by Lenovo, which is a China based company. Now, I want to show the community post that I made earlier in the year about this. Okay, so this is after, so this right here, it says, "This is an email I received today. The prophetic warnings about cybersecurity are legitimate. I disconnected my bank accounts from external applications yesterday, as I suggested a couple posts ago." So KuCoin had sent me this saying, "Dear KuCoin users, KuCoin has always been committed to providing a safe and reliable crypto trading environment for users. We are issuing an urgent alert to all our global users regarding increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks targeting cryptocurrency exchange accounts." Okay, this was like 2 days after I had this stream. Okay. "To combat this growing threat, we strongly recommend enhancing your security protocols and staying vigilant to protect your valuable digital assets." And then it gives some things to consider. Okay. Um, oh, my bad, Olga. Um, yeah, I can't do that right now. It's really simple though. You just go to your payment methods on the exchange and click on whatever payment method you have connected and click disconnect, you know. Um, but I think there was a comment in here I wanted to read. Yeah, just some tips. Okay. And then the other post that I made, the original post after I had the dream. So it says, "I had a series of dreams." Hold on. "How satisfied are you with creating posts?" I'll say very satisfied. It's pretty good. Uh, yeah. Yeah. All right. "I had a series of dreams this morning concerning cybersecurity, specifically with phones." And then I said, "I hope to get a video out on it soon," which I still haven't. "For now, consider disconnecting any third party apps from your bank account, such as your crypto exchanges, Cash App, etc." All right. "Hello, Marcus. About 3 days ago." So, Brother Francisco is sharing about essentially getting a spam email from Kraken. And then some other people are saying, things have been coming up lately. Okay. So I shared the security expert, and essentially they confirmed what was happening in my dream. They confirmed that if someone were able to get into one of these third party applications that you have your bank account connected to, Cash App, an exchange, hacking, they can then siphon funds from your bank account, right? They also confirmed when I read the dream and I read the part about Motorola being owned by a China-based company, Lenovo, their immediate reaction was, "Oh, stay away from Lenovo," right? And they ended up talking about something similar to spyware. Okay. And so, you may have heard in the news recently, Biden is proposing like a ban on Chinese uh, vehicle technology or something like that. Certain systems in cars that come from China. He's proposing a ban on that. So a lot with China going on prophetically, whether it's security, whether it's their economy, their stock market, something crashing, and there some people feel that this is connected to war, right? So I look I googled China war, And funny enough, I mean, immediately there's certain things. Let me go to news. No, I don't want Ukraine war. China, Taiwan. Three U.S. allies sell warships near China. There was recent news that I saw concerning China and Taiwan. Okay, and so some believe that the whole China's economy falling, could be connected to war breaking out, or we should say war expanding, since there's already some wars going on right now. Okay, so keep an eye on China. Now, before we move on to the next segment of the stream, let me check the chat. Okay, y'all are saying black screen again. When was the black screen? Did it last? Did it stay up? I saw your video about 7 months ago about Vince McMahon. I saw the docu today on Netflix. In minute 8:36, a man standing behind Vince McMahon was holding up a Shiba Inu T-shirt. Mm. China just injected a lot of money into their economy. Yeah, they did the whole stimulus thing. The whole stimulus thing. Um, I would suggest having a separate phone for your company or trust. Yeah, the security expert suggested that to me too. Having a phone that you use like when you go out in public, um, that's like bare bones minimum. You can contact someone. You don't keep a lot of stuff on there. You definitely don't keep your access to your crypto and stuff on it, things of that nature. No, I haven't dropped the Caleb and Brown video yet. It is done. Just have to finish the editing on it. Um, should be out this week. Should be out this week. Should be out this week. All right. So now I want to talk about these prophetic storms, right? So earlier, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, we had Hurricane Beryl, right? Beryl. And I made a community post about this. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and you'll see these community posts. But beryl is a mineral that creates a gemstones, right? A mineral composed of blah 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 blah. Okay. So then if you look at this, hold on, sorry, probably black screen. There we go. All right. So then you got different types or colors of beryl, right? Let me go here. And this one here stood out to me when we had Hurricane Beryl earlier this year. Goshenite. Goshenite. I mean, I don't believe in coincidence. Okay. So we have Hurricane Beryl. These are beryl varieties, and one of them is Goshenite. Also emerald, which is, important in the Bible, but Goshenite, right? Goshen being where the Israelites lived when they were in Egypt, where they were protected from the plagues. Goshen also being the last place they lived before they came out of Egypt with silver and gold, right? With riches. Okay, so that was Hurricane Beryl just a couple months ago. Now we have Hurricane Helene that just passed through, right? Helene means shining light. The meaning of the name Helene means shining light. Coming from the Greek Helen, it is translated from shining light. And it's actually believed to be derived from the Greek word helios, the Greek word helios for the sun. Okay, so Hurricane Helene, I'm going to read some verses where that exact Greek word is used in scripture. Okay, we got Matthew 13:6. No, I'm sorry. We're going to start with Matthew 17:2. Matthew 17:2, and was transfigured before them. Obviously, this is talking about the Lord. And his face did shine as the sun, Helios, and his raiment was white as the light. Acts 26:13. At midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above the brightness of the sun. So the light was even brighter than the sun, Helios, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. So I believe this is when Paul was recounting his visitation from the Lord, being struck with blindness. All right, Revelation 1:16. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun, Helios, shineth in his strength. Revelation 10:1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the Helios, and his feet as pillars of fire. So when this is used in scripture, and it's not talking about the literal sun, it's talking about glory. It's talking about shining like glory, right? So first we have Beryl, a storm called Beryl, connected to Goshenite, right? Right where the Israelites were right before they came up out of Egypt. Now we have a storm titled Shining Light or Glory, right? A lot of times when this word is used in scripture, it's speaking directly of the Lord. Okay. And unfortunately, with the bad audio live stream earlier in the week, I did speak a lot about how the Lord has been talking about his return, talking about the millennial reign, and the Lord's going to come back in his glory. But it's also about us, and I'm mad because I put the wrong scripture on here. But the first scripture I wanted to speak about was it talks about God's people, us shining in this way. Okay. So it's also pertains to us if we are in Christ, right? Now, what's interesting is you saw my, you saw my, well, you may have saw my live stream earlier in the year where I was talking about prophetically about tornadoes, right? And tornado season. And it's funny because we had Hurricane Helene this week. While Hurricane Helene was passing, I had a tornado warning. So I had both at the same time. I had a hurricane causing a tornado warning all day on Thursday, right? And in the Bible, the word hurricane is not used. The word it's whirlwind, right? Which is both of these fall into whirlwind, right? A hurricane is a whirlwind, a tornado is a whirlwind. God spoke to Job from the whirlwind, right? So we can catch some things spiritually from these storms that are going on. And I mean, the weather where I've been has been insane. Just the ridiculous amount of rain, but not only that, last week, I mean, lightning storms like you wouldn't believe, lightning flashing continuously all night, all around, 4 days in a row, lightning, right? And I'm only 20, less than 20 miles away from Mar-a-Lago. I'm less than 20 miles away from where Trump lives. You cannot tell me that this isn't this isn't spiritual, right? That this isn't the spiritual manifesting in the natural with these crazy lightning. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like the weather I've been experiencing here right before election, less than 20 miles away from where Trump lives. You can't tell me it's not spiritual. Is she on the UK? I don't know what you're saying. Hurricanes can come with tornadoes, thunderstorms, and flooding. Yes, correct. So a lot of things are being said. A lot of things are being said through creation, right? Which makes sense. Creation speaks. So we got Goshen, we got shining glory, right? Return of the Lord, but also us being lifted up, connected to these feasts in October and what these feasts represent. The four feasts we're about to experience in the month of October, right? Which was again poor audio on that video, unfortunately, but we talked about that earlier in the week. Now let's get into some specific cryptocurrencies. This is going quicker than I thought it would, which isn't a bad thing. But let's talk about some specific revelation concerning some cryptocurrencies. So I had a dream earlier this week when I posted that poll asking if anyone had a crypto dream. It's because I had a dream. It was about Tether. Okay. Let me pull up the notes. Okay. So September 25th. Okay. I dreamt that you could mint a Tether digital ID. Okay. So what I was seeing a screen and there were two buttons on the screen. The first button said mint a digital ID, but I knew this was Tether. I knew Tether was hosting this. The second button was mint a digital ID on Ethereum. Okay, so first I'm looking at the screen, and of course, I'm already like kind of questioning in my mind, like how it, expecting a collapse of Tether, like what's going on here. Okay, so then my vision changes. I don't shift scenes, my vision just changes, and now I'm in this room. Okay, and there's like three lines, and there's like a tablet or a kiosk at the front of each line, and people are standing in line waiting to mint their digital IDs. Again, through Tether, through Tether. Okay. So then I woke up. I woke up and I started thinking about the dream. So now I'm like half awake, half asleep, kind of meditating on the dream, thinking about it. And then I hear, and it's like I'm hearing a news reporter. Okay. And I hear her say, due to their monopoly trust. Okay. Those are the words I hear. I've never heard that term before, monopoly trust, but that's what I hear. Due to their monopoly trust. I knew she was reporting on this whole Tether, whatever was going on. It said, due to their monopoly trust. Okay. So then I continued thinking, and I'm questioning in my mind, but what about the potential collapse of Tether? Like, if they collapse, are they still going to be around? And then I hear they were in on it. They were in on it. Okay. So it was spoken in past tense, right? Which to me means this is a done deal. To me, that's what it means. I heard the voice speaking about it as if it already happened, as if it's done. And again, I'm hearing in the spirit. So in the spirit realm, things are already done, right? And so the way I received that was they were in on it. They were in on their own collapse. Okay. And so I woke up and before I even researched anything, I shared it with this security expert that I know just to see what their thoughts might be. And when I told them they were in on it part, they said, yeah, Tether is in on it. And they sought to share a tweet that they had seen with me from someone who's connected to Tether. But they weren't able to find it. But then I shared it with someone else, and they confirmed that they've also seen this tweet from whoever connected to Tether, basically mocking people who don't realize Tether doesn't have the backing that they say they do for their tokens. Okay. So now one other thing I heard, okay. I am not mentioning dates, okay. I'm just sharing with you what I heard. This could end up being absolutely nothing, okay. One last thing I heard was December 17th, And then I heard the words coming to an event or coming to a bend. I wasn't sure on what I heard. Coming to an event or coming to a bend, but December 17th, coming to an event or bend. I'm just going to put it out there, you know. So Tether had these digital IDs, right? And the dream makes sense because Tether, they make digital products. They make products, right? USDT is a product. They have a gold product, the Tether Gold, what is it? AUXT or something like that, right? They make products. And so it's possible, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to have a digital ID program or product in the future. So I guess we'll see what comes of that. But the whole monopoly trust thing was interesting. And essentially what it signifies is having, you know, we know what monopoly means, right? It like having such a strong hold or control on a market, on an industry. And so what could that mean? Could that mean that Tether collapses, but then they come back from that? Which is possible. They collapse and they come back from that and they're even stronger. I don't know. I don't know. Or could this digital ID, all this type of stuff happen and then they collapse? I think the former is more likely, but we'll see what comes of that. Let's see. Okay. All right. So that's Tether. That was earlier this week. So you may have seen this week there was a scam with OpenAI. Okay. And OpenAI's X accounts, Twitter accounts got hacked, right? So these attackers hacked their account and posted a fake announcement about a new OpenAI branded blockchain token and linked it to a phishing site designed to steal users' login credentials, right? But then that reminded me, and you may or may not remember, but I shared on my community tab what I heard one day while I was sleeping, and it was simply OpenAI crypto. It was November 23rd, 2023, and there's that 23 number again. But November 23rd last year, I heard OpenAI crypto. So when I saw this scam, I was like, that's interesting, you know, because I still haven't seen an OpenAI crypto. I look periodically, there's nothing, you know. They do have WorldCoin, which one of the founders of OpenAI is involved in, but that project is not under OpenAI. It's under a different company, right? So all I know is if OpenAI comes out with the cryptocurrency, I will be jumping in. Okay, I'll be jumping in as quickly as I can. Um, I think next we got Luna Classic. Oh no, Velo. Velo. Okay. So Luna Classic will be last. But Velo, okay. So I heard something simply while I was taking a nap earlier this week. Okay. And what's been happening recently is I'm not so much having dreams. I have had some dreams, but like the Tether one was a dream, right? But what's been happening recently, like a dream is where almost like you go into a different realm, almost. Okay. It's like when you're in the dream, you're in this self-contained world, if you will. Okay. So you're only conscious of what's in that world, in that dream. But what's been happening recently is it's like I'll lay down and I'll just like tap into the spirit realm. Like I'll just like be listening in on the spirit realm, not even really having dreams, you know? So I took a nap earlier this week and I heard that Velo had a partnership with a major beverage company, right? I believe it was Coca-Cola. But for the sake of accuracy, just in case it wasn't Coca-Cola, I'm just going to say a major beverage company, but on the level of Coca-Cola, okay? Major. And when I heard that in the dream, my reaction was, "Oh, so they're going international now, huh?" That was my reaction. They're going international now, huh? Right? Now, Velo, that makes a lot of sense because Velo is largely utilized in Asia right now, Southeast Asia, right? Expanding in Southeast Asia. Velo token gains momentum across Southeast Asia. And so, not every token has the same reach as one another. So, like XRP, obviously, international, global. Yes, you can buy a cryptocurrency pretty much anywhere, but that doesn't mean it's being strongly utilized everywhere, right? So Velo right now is strongly concentrated. Its use is in Southeast Asia, as far as like banks looking to use it, things of that nature. But in this dream, I'm hearing they formed a partnership with a major beverage company, which would now expand them to international, worldwide. Take it for what you will. Take it for what you will. And then lastly, I want to revisit my Luna Classic dream from last December, but I want to connect it to this year. So let's see. I think it was a live stream. Okay, so in this dream, you may remember that here it is. This video is only 2 minutes, 40 seconds. So I haven't even rewatched it. Let's just watch it real quick.
$5. If everyone watching this would give $5 to my race here in Florida.
All right. I just wanted to share. Okay. Chris is on. Let me give it a handful of more seconds to see if anybody else gets on. I see two people online now. I just got to share this, forgive my rough appearance. I just woke up, but I think it's happening right now. Okay. So I got a message from Gabriel, my friend Gabriel. I don't know, maybe 20 minutes ago. Don't quote me. But he messaged me. He said, "Bro, is it happening?" And so I look at the charts, and the only coin I see kind of making a big jump is Luna Classic. So I message him and I say, "What makes you say that, Luna?" And he said, "Yeah." Now the crazy thing is Gabriel's message woke me up out of a dream about Luna. That's the crazy thing. So in my dream, um, it was related to football, but in my dream, there's this quarterback in the NFL named Kyler Murray. Okay, he plays for the Arizona Cardinals. And in my dream, Kyler Murray scrambled up the middle of the field for a touchdown. Kyler Murray, he's quick, he's fast, okay? He's a quick quarterback. And he scrambled up the middle of the field for like a 60-yard touchdown, a long run. And I knew in the dream, Kyler represented Luna Classic. And I knew that the defenders were people who didn't want Luna Classic to succeed. But in my dream, they were dejected. They didn't even try to chase him. They knew there was nothing they could do to catch him. And then I get woken up from that dream by a message from Gabriel saying, "Bro, is it happening?" Because of Luna Classic. Then, as I'm talking to Gabriel, I look at my notifications and see like 30 minutes ago, Christopher Harris sent a message in his chat saying one of his dreams have come to pass right now, where Luna Classic reached 3017. And he said, in that dream, when that happened, there was instruction to buy Luna right now because it's about to go off. Okay. So I just want to share that word with y'all. It's probably happening. All right. So that was last December. I just want to show y'all real quick. Kyler Murray. This is going to make sense, by the way.
Last couple weeks. And again, Connor and Ward that comes in. Murray pulls it on the replay. And there goes Kyler Murray. Bursting free. Kyler Murray. A foot race. First and goal.
Okay, so that's Kyler Murray. And as you can see, he wears number 1. Okay. Because, I mean, the Lord could have shown me anyone. The Lord could have shown me Michael Vick. The Lord could have shown me Lamar Jackson. The Lord could have shown me any of these fast quarterbacks to represent Luna Classic running up the middle of the field, right? But he specifically showed me Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray wears number 1. So what is the significance? A lot of people ask, oh, what's going to go first? Sheba, Luna, XRP, right? So is that the number 1 significance of number 1? I don't necessarily think so. Last week, I was doing the calculation. Remember, I told you earlier in the stream, I asked the Discord, hey, what is the highest prophetic number you've heard for Luna Classic that you actually believe it can hit? And multiple people said a return to its all-time high of nearly $120. And I did a calculation at that time. If you were to buy Luna Classic at that time, it was like a 2.5 million X increase. I redid the calculation like last night. It was like still over 1 million X increase. I think Luna Classic is the number 1 return on investment prophetic token we have. That doesn't mean dump everything in there. XRP is still the end goal, right? Like, don't get it twisted. But if we're talking just return on investment, I don't think I've done that calculation for multiple cryptos. Okay, what is its price now, or what price did I buy it at? What's the prophetic price point? What's the increase there? I've never seen over 2 million X. I've never seen that. And so, again, Kyler Murray representing Luna Classic. Kyler Murray wears number 1. Okay, he was running up the field, wasn't being touched, wasn't even being chased. The defenders knew they couldn't get him, right? And those who have been following along with what's going on with Luna Classic, what's going on with Christopher Harris, knows there's been a lot of opposition, a lot of defenders, if you will. Okay. But in my dream, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't touch it. And I'm feeling goosebumps right now as I think about the 1-year time frame that I've talked about multiple times. The 1-year time frame that I started noticing a year ago, where a prophetic word comes, prophetic revelation comes, you think it's going to happen right then, but it actually happens exactly a year later. So I'm going to keep my eyes open. I'm not declaring thus saith the Lord, Luna Classic beginning of December is going to go crazy. I'm not saying that, but I'm going to watch for it and we'll see. We'll see. Oh, and another thing I wanted to point out. I had that dream a year ago, right? Kyler Murray, I think he was injured a lot last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, for anyone who knows. He was injured a lot last year. Like, he didn't come back and start playing until the very end of the season. But he's playing now, and he's playing well. He's playing well. As you can see, this is Pro Football Focus. And what they do is they watch every play. They have a team of people who watch every play of every player and grade every single play that every player has. And then they rank and give players grades. And right now, you can see Kyler Murray is the number 2 quarterback as far as ranking on Pro Football Focus in the league right now. Obviously, I don't have a subscription, so I can't see all, but it doesn't matter. He's top 3. Last week, he was number 1. Okay, so there's could even be something to that, how well he's playing this year. Again, Kyler Murray in my dream last year represented Luna Clasic. He is a top 3 performing quarterback in the league right now. Okay, so I'm just going to be watching that. Let's look at the chat. They're scheduled to demolish the 22-story Tropicana Casino on October 9th. 4 years ago, I dreamt of being inside a closed-off casino in the floor becoming a giant red slide that we fell down. So could represent a crash, huh? Dude, you're seeing the end. That's awesome. We knew the fall, and the Lord said someone would bring them back. You're seeing the backside. Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that someone said someone would bring Tether back. So if that's the case, well, then that makes sense. That kind of clarifies what I had seen then. Because I was just wondering, like, is that what's going to happen? I mean, how are they over here making digital IDs and, this type of stuff, unless they come back after a collapse, right? A typical Kyler Murray run. Yeah, what the title of that video was like, someone said, Kyler Murray runs like an angry toddler, and I can't unsee it. And I looked up the meaning of the name Kyler, and one definition, it's weird. You'll find a lot of different things, but when you Google search something and it'll show you like the top result and it'll make it big, like highlight it. That result, when I Googled Kyler name meaning, was victory of the people. Victory of the people. You are right on the potential ROI for Luna Classic. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was talking to Kelly about XRP and, the thought of don't sell XRP at all, right? Buy as much XRP. I forgot how we got what exactly we were talking about, but then I brought to her attention, well, the ROI on Luna Classic, like XRP is nowhere near, like even the highest numbers we've heard for XRP, the ROI is nowhere near what, if you buy Luna Classic right now and it goes up to 120, again, I'm not saying choose Luna Classic over XRP, not at all. Okay. But we know Luna is a prophetic token, right? So that's like buying Bitcoin in 2008. 4.6 million% increase for Shiba to hit $1 right now. Okay. 4.6 million%. What's the difference there between, because I was saying X, right? So 2.5 million times. So I can't do that off the top of my head, what that percentage increase would be. But I'm led to believe it's still higher for Luna Classic. The X is a higher number than the percentage. Excuse my, whatever. Okay, Old Rounder Bro said that's percent. It's 460. Okay, good. Okay, exactly. Okay. Audio is chopping again. Okay, let me know. Can someone confirm if it's choppy? But thank you, Jamal. According to the Kraken on my take profit order. Okay. God personally showed me BNB Tiger. Look up current price. Yeah, I mean, BNB Tiger, I don't know much about BNB Tiger. I only own some because it was gifted to me. And I believe in it because who gifted it to me, very prophetic couple that gifted me BNB Tiger. So I believe it will do something. But I've heard a number for BNB Tiger that is like kind of insane, like very insane. So, but I've talked to a couple of people about that number. I didn't hear the number personally. I heard someone else say the number, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I've talked to a couple of people about it, and they caused me to kind of like temper my doubts a little bit. Not that I doubt that God can do something. I don't doubt that at all. But there comes a certain point where it's like, okay, let's be realistic. Like B&B Tiger on its own is going to make me a multi-trillionaire. B&B Tiger on its own is going to make me a multi-trillion. That's kind of like, not saying it's impossible, but it's kind of like in the scope of like just there is a certain limit to this world we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway. Okay, the sound is good. Okay, Tom. Yeah, I said X. Yeah, 2.5 million times increase. I said I don't know if I said X or not, but that's what I meant. Yes, I think B&B Tiger and ETN may have comparable ROI as Luna Classic. Okay. But why B&B Tiger? Can someone explain that? Does B&B Tiger have utility? Because I really don't know anything about B&B Tiger. Again, I only have it because it was gifted to me. Never been interested in it. I can see ETN. There's utility there. I can see Luna Classic, right? There's utility there. They were pegged to a stable coin. Like, I can see that. I can see ETN. I can see Luna Classic. B&B Tiger, I'm not doubting. I just want someone to give me some information. Harry S says CZ followed B&B Tiger. Okay, that's insightful. I was talking on the members live stream yesterday. We talked about how he got released from jail, and one of the specific things I said is like, okay, I read a headline. He got released from jail with like his $40 billion fortune, and I literally asked, like, what could that mean though? Like, what does that mean for crypto or? But now you're saying he followed B&B Tiger. Interesting. B&B Tiger has a 9% buy and sell tax, I think. Not sure what else. So what is that, like a burn tax? Like 9% when transactions are made? I just had a dream that a prophet told everybody on social media to buy it and the future price was blurred out. What, B&B Tiger? I'm just wondering why. I'm still not getting a good, and it doesn't have to be a perfect answer. It can be speculation, but tell me something. Why would it go up that much? Again, I can see why Luna Classic would. I can see why ETN would. I can even at this point see why Shiba would. Shiba is a large cap cryptocurrency, believe it or not. I did my research. $10 billion market cap is the threshold to be considered large cap. Shiba is over that now. Large cap cryptocurrencies are considered relatively stable to the rest of them. More of a safer investment. So we might need to start looking at some of these meme coins a little differently. Dogecoin as well. Dogecoin been large cap. A prophetic person, can't remember who, said they believe Elon might be behind being. That is insane. What? Like, come on, man. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that just seems like so like, well, where did that come from? I've heard Elon might be behind Shiba. That makes a lot more sense to me. Elon and Vitalik Buterin might be behind. That makes a lot more sense to me. B&B Tiger? It's not impossible. I don't think the tax is completely burned, but I think they have already burned half the supply. Okay. A future price given was 33 cents. So I'm going to be a multi-trillionaire from this little bit of B&B Tiger that was gifted to me. Hey, I'll take it. I will take it. Glitches or cyber attacks will cause these price points to happen. Okay. Bring Brother Keith one day. He talks about BNB Tiger. Yeah, me and Brother Keith should link up on a live stream. I saw someone make just under 20K the other day on 100K worth of Shiba Inu. He showed the screenshot. Yeah, if only I had 100K to put into one cryptocurrency, I would have thrown that 100K in the Popcat, got my 50% increase, and been out. A month or so ago, as soon as I woke up and I went straight into an open vision, and I saw my balance on my BNB Tiger at $13,448, and I heard take 10,000 and leave the rest. So I will definitely do that. Okay, I mean that's believable. That's believable. That dollar amount is believable. But obviously, I would assume the leave the rest means it's probably going to go up even higher. Volt Inu has the power of Luna Classic too. What, the ROI, the multiplication? I'm just looking for like use cases for some of these. Like what will make it? Now, of course, I get it. I get, God can make anything. I get that, of course. But a lot of the prophetic tokens make sense, So some of these very tiny ones that have no utility, I'm like, okay, what's gonna cause this? They're working on a staking platform for BNB Tiger. That's not necessarily a good thing, though. You stake BNB Tiger, you earn more BNB Tiger in rewards, which causes the supply to increase, which dilutes the value. Potentially, right? Now, if more people are buying than the extra supply that's being generated, then the price will still go up. But just the fact that there's a staking platform in and of itself doesn't automatically mean something positive. I have heard about a glitch for sheep, but nothing else. I have had 3 dreams about it going parabolic like a rocket. Yeah, I've heard that multiple times. That's for sheep specifically. Which makes sense because SHIB is already strong. Like I said, it's a large cap cryptocurrency. It's 10 billion plus market cap. So it's already strong, and then a glitch happens. Yeah, I could see it going crazy. Yeah, the Volt Inu has the same ROI as Luna Classic. Okay. TikTok popularity. I don't know what that means. What is the Volt Inu target? Yeah, if somebody knows in the chat, go ahead and put it in there. I have no target for Volt Inu. I know it's crazy, bro, but I saw BNB Tiger at 5 zeros and now it's at 18 zeros. Dang. So 13's dropping 13 zeros. So if I put $50 in it, add 13 zeros to that. Bro, what are we talking about? Gazillionaire? Like, what are we talking about here? No, I'm joking. Well, I'm not joking. It is like that high, but still. Robin C had Volt at $1. Quadrillions. The coin would be shown some on TikTok and people would buy it because they think it's the way. Oh. Interesting perspective. Interesting perspective. Volt Inu target given was $1, but I'm sure there's in between price points. Okay. But is that given by one person? Remember, we want confirmations. Mouth the 2 or 3 witnesses. And I know there might be somebody who you just trust completely and you just need to hear them say it. But for my sake, I'm wondering, has more than one person said that or close to that? Like Shiba Inu, we've heard multiple people say $1. We've heard multiple people say $2. That's why my Shiba price points are in that range, because we got multiple confirmations. My thoughts is BNB Tiger will be used by CZ somehow. But how? And again, you don't have to have the exact answer. Speculate. What do you mean by could be used by him? There's so many things that phrase could mean. Like, so clarify for me a little bit. Volti new target given was $1. Okay. The only other two crypto I have dreamt about were XLM and XRP. XLM was being used for everyday purchases, which I believe it will. XRP was nations and banking, which we believe it will. That was before I researched them. Okay. I want to talk. So I watched a little video on Warren Buffett. So one thing I'm starting to try to learn about is trading options. I've bought a couple of books, but I was watching just randomly Warren Buffett, and he was like debunking some investing myths. And one thing he was talking about was diversification. He was like, why do you need 30 to 40 different companies to invest in, right? And in our case, we can say, why do you need 30 to 40 different cryptocurrencies to invest in? He was like, find 3 really good ones and invest in that, right? If you got a set amount of money that you're ready to put into an investment and you have a list of 30 stocks that you want to invest in, why would you take that money and put it in number 30 rather than number 1, the one that you think is going to do best, right? Now, of course, scripture speaks of diversification. Diversification is good, but what he was saying is, and he even said diversification is not a bad strategy, but he said he thinks it's for people who don't know how to research and choose a good company, a good investment to begin with. If you know how to spot a good investment, you don't need 30, 40 different things to invest in, right? And that actually is in line with my video last year where I talked about consolidating my cryptocurrencies. I was looking at cryptocurrencies that, yes, prophetic people I trust talked about these cryptocurrencies. So I bought some, but I was like, I have enough cryptocurrencies that the Lord has talked to me directly about. So why don't I just sell these other ones and just invest more into the ones the Lord has told me about directly, right? So here's my running list of what God has talked to me about directly. And I am invested in some. So, and when I say directly, I mean me. I'm not saying my friend who's very prophetic came to me and told me. I'm saying only me. So Shiba Inu, XRP, Luna Classic, WikiCat, Velo. I'm gonna say Velo and Flare. That pink dream. I'm actually starting to think the reason in the dream all I saw was pink and I didn't see a specific cryptocurrency is because it's supposed to be about both of those cryptos. If I would have saw specific, I would have said, okay, only this one. But I think it was intentionally vague and I only saw a color because it's about both. So Shiba Inu, Luna Classic, WikiCat, XRP, Velo, Flare. I think that might be it. I feel like there's one more. We'll say that's it for now. I feel like there's one more though. Let me pull up my coin market cap real quick. No, that might be it. That might be it. No, the Lord hasn't talked to me directly about XLM. I do have some, but he hasn't talked. And I do believe it's going to do well. My overarching strategy is invest in these smaller tokens, prophetic tokens, take profits, and then invest in the ISO 20022 tokens. So invest in these small tokens with high ROIs, high risk, high reward tokens. Take profits and invest in the long-term stable ones that we know are going to be here because they already meet regulations. ISO 20022 is they already meet it, right? So we know they're going to be here and they're going to be used by the new system. Let's see. I had an open vision that Volt was $1.23. Okay. How about WikiCat? What about WikiCat? I haven't seen a price for Wiki, But again, confirmation, right? Mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. I've heard multiple people say 3 zeros. So it having 3 zeros behind the decimal point. So what does it have right now? What does it have right now? WikiCat has where's my WikiCat? Bro. I don't have my WikiCat easily viewable on my widgets. Is anybody putting it in the chat? WikiCat has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. So losing 5 zeros. I've heard multiple people say that point. Okay. So that would make me, WikiCat alone would make me a millionaire, multi-millionaire if it hits that point. Let's see. Evangelist Lauren Atkinson said the same thing about XLM and XRP exactly. Does anybody hear anything about Inu token? I have not. What is the run price target you saw for Shiba? I haven't personally seen a price. But again, mouth to 2 or 3 witnesses, $1 to $2. I have spread load my prices from a penny up to $2. What I saw personally was I was told in a dream I need to set sell limit orders. And in the dream, I was setting multiple sell limit orders. So that's why I spread load my sell limit orders, but I didn't see specific prices. The other day, my account glitched for BNB Tiger. It said I have $5 million. Man, so I'm using I've been messing with the coin market cap portfolio feature, right? So you can add your tokens and all of this. And on my graph, my all-time graph for my portfolio value, there's a big sharp spike in the middle. And that's when BNB Tiger glitched a couple months ago or whenever that was. I wish, man, my that was a lot of money. 7 to 8 coins like Ecclesiastes says. I also have BNB Lion. I haven't heard from more than one prophet on Volt Inu, but she has also given price points on Shiba Inu confirmed by a handful of other prophets, so I trust her. I had a dream about WikiCat. WikiCat was the size of a mouse / baby kitten. Within seconds of my dream, it grew into a fat cat like Garfield. I then remembered the logo of WikiCat flashing in the dream. Okay. Dogecoin. I believe Dogecoin will hit $2. XLM. Oh, but I think you're asking if the Lord showed me Dogecoin personally. No. So, okay. So now I'll move into another category. The cryptocurrencies I invested in because someone I know personally and trust, they spoke about it and it resonated. Dogecoin was the number one. XLM maybe, but not really. Like me investing in XLM is because I know the ISO 20022 coins are going to be good. And also we got the whole X marks the spot thing. Volt Inu, I guess, could be one of those. ETN is one of those. But yeah, I didn't receive direct revelation about Dogecoin or XLM or ETN, although I am invested in all three. XDC, no, XDC, no revelation, although I do think that's one to invest in. I am only investing in the coins he has shown me. I had a dream about XLM before Shiba Inu or XRP. Exactly. Aim for IOC coins when you get more profits. Which video do you speak about the dream of the lady and dinar? The dream. I haven't spoken of that in a video. That was a dream that someone shared with me offline, and I just posted the comment on Brother Keith's video from yesterday to confirm the dream that he shared. I have a prophet friend who hears God's audible voice. I asked him what coins he wanted me to invest in. He said Solana, Helium, XRP, Luna, Cardano, and DOT. For stocks, he said Tesla. Yeah, I was invested in Tesla for a while, but I sold Tesla to buy WikiCat last year because I didn't have any capital. So I was like, I felt led to at that moment, like, let me sell this Tesla so I can get into WikiCat now. Dang, there was something I wanted to say just now. Oh, so I've been receiving more prophetic words recently. I was on a prophetic call last night with a couple of other people. One of the people doesn't even know me at all, knows nothing about me. They start and they flow, they prophesy. They are a prophet. First thing they wealth, right? Wealth. And so it just, I mean, obviously I've known this for years. Even before I knew the wealth transfer, I knew God called me to steward wealth. And so I want to say, I don't want, and I said this in the group call in the member section for levels 4 and up. At the risk of sounding quote unquote arrogant, I'm not being arrogant at all. I'm trying to say this in a very common sense kind of way, right? If you're listening to someone who has multiple prophetic words from multiple people spanning years of being wealthy, who has a known prophet prophesy over them about being a billionaire, and that's after the person had a dream where the prophet told them they'd be a billionaire, and then it gets confirmed in real life. When they're saying, hey, I'm invested in this, I'm invested in that, I mean, it might be a good idea to like really take a look at these specific things they're saying they're invested in, you know? Now, why do I say that? I say because, I mean, just follow. My channel name is Walk This Way, and it's literally modeled after the verse that essentially says, be imitators of me as I imitate Christ. Follow me as I follow Christ, right? And so it's like, okay, I'm sharing these things with you for a reason. These videos aren't for me. I don't need to make a video to tell me what I'm learning, what I'm receiving from the Spirit about what I'm investing in. I already know, obviously, right? So it's for you. Now, take everything back to the Spirit, of course, but food for thought. You know, if you know someone's called to be a billionaire and they're flat out telling you, this is what I'm investing in, it's worth considering. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a servant of the Lord. WikiCat already lost 3 to 5 zeros in 10 days 2 weeks ago. What? Where was I when that happened? I had a dream that I asked God for on ETN. He showed me $1.11. But could that be symbolic? 111. I had a dream WikiCat went to 1 cent. I've heard a number right around there from someone else who I trust, which is crazy. 8 zeros and 87. Oh, that's what WikiCat is at right now. I had a dream about getting into XSP, which I knew nothing about, but found out it is built on the XTC network, which God did tell me about to buy. Okay, XSP. I don't think I've heard of that. Recently saw a Holden Volt vehicle with the number plate Volt here in Australia. This was enough confirmation for me to put some in Volt. DCA now on ISO coins. You never know if there comes a time you can't get it. XRP. I saw Doge at $2 in a dream, and I have my sell order set at just that. After having the dream, I saw your video about pretty much the same price. After it crashes, what price you heard it going after? I have no idea. If and when Doge hits $2, I'm selling everything. I'm selling my entire Doge bag at $2. So I don't know. Marcus, are you thinking there will be a Bitcoin flash crash before a massive crypto rally? I think you touched on it earlier, but I'm not clear on timing. I have no idea. You know, because what I feel about that changes as we see the market change, as we see world dynamics change and progress. So early on, when I first started making videos, it always made sense to me that a crypto run would happen first. Um, then earlier in the year, and I was listening to Sharon, she was talking about Ethereum flash crash and things like that. Then I started to feel, again, looking at the market as well, I started to feel like, okay, a crash first does actually make some sense, right? Now we're at a place now where I'm expecting a sharp rise and a sharp fall. So does that answer your question? I guess maybe that means uh, a massive crypto rally first. But what do you mean by massive? In 2022, I saw WikiCat, a vision of WikiCat at 5 cents. Okay, that's right around what I've heard someone else say. So we got a penny, we got 5 cents, and I've heard someone else say a number right between those two. So okay, got some confirmations. What I meant by CZ having something to do with BNB Tiger is in the same sense that Elon Musk supports Doge. Okay. Bonk is supposedly backed by Solana devs. So my thoughts is maybe CZ will be the Elon Musk. Okay. Yeah, Bonk is the other coin I felt led to invest in last week. I told y'all I invested in PopCat because of prophetic numbers. Bonk was the other one. Just FYI. I recently saw H bar would go up, and I also saw Pepe go up around December Christmas. I think it's for this December. Okay. Yeah, I have Pepe. Pepe is like what currently like number 25 cryptocurrency out of nearly 10,000. Not bad for a Trojan horse. Can we call you Pastor Marcus? Yeah, you can. I don't disagree with that. I mean, I'm called to fivefold ministry. I'm called to. I'll save that for another video. But yeah, pastor isn't outside of the realm of things. It's up to you, whatever you want to call me. Crazy you felt led to invest in Bonk. I did too. Yeah, and it felt kind of crazy because it's like both Bonk and Popcat have already gone, increased so much. You know what I'm saying? But I just followed it. Let's see where it leads. I think a lot of people will be disappointed. I think that civil unrest will break out after the elections for months, causing the markets to crash. 2025 would be chaos and bring a deep recession. I don't know. Multiple people have seen good things about 2025. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't agree with that, AP. But I mean, thank you for sharing your input. You think the wealth transfer, millions and billions, won't happen until 2028, 2029. But it's also like, what are you doing right now? Because like, for instance, I'm building business, right? I'm building business. So it's like, even if I get some profits, relatively little to millions and billions, right? I know I'm now building systems that I can then put that money to and multiply it, right? And so it's like a compounding effect over time. So because I feel like some people have already, when we say wealth transfer, when is it going to happen? People are asking, when am I going to be a millionaire? I believe some people have already tapped into that. Some people have already experienced it. And so I think it has something to do also with like, what are you doing? Are you just sitting and waiting for your investment to make you a millionaire? Or are you doing other things in the meantime? And I'm not saying it's wrong to just invest and wait because God told you to invest in this. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying this can have an effect on when you start seeing that prosperity. I think it is rather pessimistic. We won't have wealth transfer by end of 2025. Trillions and more. Why would God give us only part of the wealth of the wicked? October is going to pop off God's calendar. Yeah, I'm looking at also, I told y'all I'm learning about options. So if I can learn enough in time, I'm going to be looking at shorting or, we'll just say shorting. I won't get into technical jargon, but I'm going to basically look on betting placing bets that things are going to fall, and being able to profit off of that as well. But I got to keep studying, keep learning before I'm ready to do that. Dream there was a loud crash, ran out to see what happened, saw a jumbo tree was charred around the root dug up. I pass everyone being curious, dig in the soil, and there was coins. I pick one up. Look, Bitcoin, it crashed right down like from above, right into the ground. Have those buy limit orders set. Marcus, what do you think of Gesera? I don't have many thoughts about it. I haven't looked too much in. Let me ask y'all though, because this has been brought up to me recently. Who is this Dave XRP Lion guy? People are sending me emails about this guy, about redemption centers for foreign currency. What is this? I don't get good vibes about, but I know nothing about it. So do y'all know who this person is? XRP Lion, and what he's talking about with redemption centers and foreign currencies and stuff like this? Because someone's been emailing me about this. Okay, Ivan. What about redemption centers for dinar? But what I've heard from people is avoid redemption centers. Yeah, exactly. Old rounder, bro. And so, somebody shared recently that the prime minister of Iraq, I believe, at the UN meeting recently said they're ready to go international. So the person who left the comment feels they could actually hit the Forex any day now, which I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up. Do I believe in the Iraqi dinar? Of course I do. But as far as something specific like that, I'm a wait and see kind of person. Unless, God has shown it to me or confirmed it to me. Just go to the beginning. Use gold. Use gold, always jumping in late, asking questions. Yeah, China was the very first topic. I had a dream several times where the rate of the dinar was between 380 and 420. I tried to learn options, but I stopped some time ago. I might pick it back up. Trading in general is good to know. Yeah, I just felt too strongly that the Lord has been putting that in front of me. And so finally I'm like, okay. And I even put out a word last year, at the end of last year, that I felt the Lord was saying, hey, get into trading. People who are like looking for, hey, how can I make money while I wait for these investments? Get into trading, right? Trading is different than investing. Now, of course, it's not for everyone. And you got to learn, you got to be smart about it. And I want to share with y'all what I believe I believe there's going to be a success story about me trading options. And it's already prophetic in nature. But I'm waiting until I actually have some results before I talk in detail about it. I know Kim Clement prophesied about it years ago, the dinar. Yeah, I own dinar. Where do you buy WikiCat, and can they be sold there as well? I'm on Uphold. They only allow $50 a day withdrawal. What? What in the world? $50 a day withdrawal? That doesn't sound right. And I don't have much option for brokers or for Caribbean customers. You can buy WikiCat on gate.io. I think that's like one of the only centralized exchanges that lists it. You can go to CoinMarketCap. Go to CoinMarketCap, search WikiCat, click on markets, and it'll show you exactly where you can buy it. But you can also buy it through a wallet like MetaMask, Trust Wallet, PancakeSwap. I bought it through MetaMask. So sometimes PancakeSwap through MetaMask. Kryptonite has been floating some $4 dinar in the last week or so. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what it opens at, you know? My dream, I saw $1.26 and I saw $5.12 for the dinar. Now, if it just opens up at $4, well, then obviously I'm selling at four. We ain't waiting at all. If it just hits the market at $4, we ain't waiting a second. But I think if it opens at like $1 something, then there's some decisions to be made. Have you ever received a word personally about any buys levels for any coins on a flash crash? I've heard 8 zeros for Shiba from someone, but no confirmation I'm aware of. Yeah, but I don't know off the top of my head. I do have my buy orders set. It also depends on the exchange. Certain exchanges only let you go so low. But like for Bitcoin, for instance, Bitcoin is the coin I have the most orders set for, buy orders. And I got a range. I got from $1. I got a $1 order. I got a $3 order, $5 order, $8 order, $10 order. Even though I've heard people say, hey, it's going to hit virtually zero, but I want to be safe. Better safe than sorry. I'm perfectly fine with getting Bitcoin at $10 and it goes back up to 70K. I am okay with that. And so I do have some lower orders, below a penny set for the smaller tokens like Luna and Shiba. I can't give you specific numbers. I would just say, well, for me, with the exchanges I was on, I just went as low as I could go because I asked a friend what numbers you have. They told me, and the exchange I was on couldn't even go that low. So I just went as low as I could go, basically. And that's the general prophetic advice I've heard. As low as you want to go, it's going to be virtually zero. You can buy WikiCat on Pancake. Thanks for confirming to stick to trading. I've been studying and felt discouraged. Man, I started reading the book. I was reading the introduction. I started to feel discouraged. I was like, no, press through. And not because it seemed overwhelming. I don't think trading is overwhelming. I think I will be a great trader, actually. I've done things in my life that are similar, like my background in poker and things of that nature. But it's just like undertaking a new thing and having to learn from scratch. That was the discouraging part. Like, I understand the basics of trading, but trading options, that's a different thing. So just the mountain of like, okay, I have to learn from ground zero and build my knowledge up. That was the discouraging part. Do you have a Plow digital ID? I do. KuCoin is kicking me off as a U.S. resident. Well, you should be a Palau resident like I am. I do have a Palau ID, and I am on KuCoin as a Palauan. MetaMask fast. Yes, that is what I heard in my dream. I'll still use it to buy something, but I immediately move it off of MetaMask once I buy it. Would you use any proceeds from dinar to buy Vietnamese dong? I don't know if that's a question or a statement. Yes, my Bitcoin buy orders are above $5. I'm on uphold, and for me, it's 25,000 a day withdrawal. That's still pretty low, man. Tangem has WikiCat. Okay, that's cool. Apparently Tangem has WikiCat. Oh, Faustino, that was a statement. Okay. Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna invest in the Haitian good Haitian good. I got to get the pronunciation right. What I learned from trading is it's actually just a simple thing, but the ones who sell the courses want people to think it's difficult, so they will buy their course. Yeah, I actually read that exact thing in the book I'm reading earlier. Maybe you read the same book that I'm reading right now. Heavy on the starting at ground zero. We're going to make it though. Yeah. Thoughts on number 222, brother? Yeah, I have a video on a prophetic word I released last month in August. And essentially, what it is, and this isn't the only, a lot of symbolism has multiple applications, but I had been seeing 222 a lot, and what it meant in this season is um basically seizing that thing that God has called you to, stepping into it, right? And it's connected to the Israelites coming to the promised land the second time. The first time, their fear and disobedience kept them out. And so they had to wander around the wilderness, came back the second time. That's 222. The second time, God said, the victory's already been given to you. You just got to go and exercise it. Right. And so that's what God is saying in this season. Whatever that thing is that you've been called to, whatever that thing is that you've been called to, that you've tried to do before and you failed at, come to it again. Come back to the promised land the second time around. It's already been given to you. Now you just got to exercise it. I saw Palau at the Olympics opening parade. Oh, wow. I didn't even think to look for that. When I try to set my VPN, sometimes I can't even set it in Palau. So I had to Google. I was like, okay, what countries are closest to Palau? I think Philippines is the closest. And it's still not very close, but I think it's like the closest. I remember the day I told you not to trust MetaMask or Trust Wallet. I don't remember. What are your thoughts on the labor strikes at the port? Could our food supply come to a stop October 1st? I saw a little email about it, and they had made like a image, almost like a video thumbnail, and like in the back it was like, stock up on toilet paper now. So I think I might actually do that. I think I might go buy a big pack of toilet paper so we don't run into what we ran into. What was that? Was that COVID when the toilet paper stuff was going on? I think I might do that. But I don't have a sense that that's going to be like a long lasting, long impact kind of thing. I don't know much about it, but just my sense in the spirit, I don't have a sense that it's going to be like a huge deal. It may have some impact, but nothing crazy. I may have missed it, but what trading book are you digging into? I'm not going to share that yet. I want to share it after I have some results and I share the whole testimony of how I even got led to it and this and the other. I bought 2 courses and found out they teach you nothing more than you can learn on YouTube. If you put in the effort, there's no secret that these traders know to make it easy for anyone. Okay. I've been seeing 222 a lot for years, but especially the last few weeks. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, I'm not gonna share the book yet. That's intentional. I just felt led to keep it between me and the Lord for now, like what I'm doing, and not share anything until I actually have some results. And then I'll be happy to share everything. I heard today that the port strike after 2 weeks would cause delays into January. I mean, maybe that could be tied into the crash as well. Maybe it could be connected. How often do you do these member only videos? Just curious when to expect another. They're kind of spontaneous. But I would say there's a balance. I would say I do just as many members only videos as I do public videos. I would have to go back and count, but I think I counted earlier because I've had a member sections for a year now. And I counted earlier this year, and I think it was like actually like an even split. So I do give attention to the member section. I definitely do. And again, the Discord, we only have like a third of the member section in the Discord, which is cool. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to manage a huge Discord server. So, if it starts getting super big, I might have to put in some things to kind of cull the numbers back a little bit, just keeping it real. But for only a third to be in the Discord is interesting to me. It's like people are like, oh, no, I don't want more insight, more information, more shared collective wisdom. I'm good. Hey, to each their own. You don't want to co-sign a book without gaining something for real. No. I actually think I was divinely led to the book, actually, keeping it real. But I don't want to start talking before anything has happened. You know what I'm saying? Marcus, have you delved deeper into trading? Realize that success in trading is 20% understanding of the charts and 80% knowing your own psychology as a trader, and 100% the Holy Spirit. But yeah, no, I got you. And I know all about, managing your emotions and all of that. I'm telling you, my poker background is going to come in handy. I'm telling you. RLUSD is now listed on CoinGecko, one of the leading cryptocurrency data aggregators. I just read yesterday, I think I read that Velo has a stable coin. USDV? USDV? Let me see. Okay, I could be wrong. So I was on Velo's website. Velo mentioned USDV, and I assumed it was USD Velo, but apparently it's verified USD. Tokenized real world asset backed stablecoin. But yeah, I only heard about it because I was on the Velo website. Velo stablecoins. Here it is. Open Eden. Velo Lab selects Open Eden's tokenized U.S. Treasury bill to strengthen its reserves for its USDV. Singapore, again, Southeast Asia, and this is only a couple of days ago. Open Eden's tokenized U.S. Treasury bills as a reserve collateral asset for USDV. The protocol pegged against stablecoins to process up to 100 USDV. What is this? USDV had been over collateralized by a basket of assets like Velo's native token and USDT. Anyway, I mean, I fully believe Velo's going to do very well. Either way. Matt says, Marcus has one of the most engaging members sections. It's great to chat with so many folks on Discord. I appreciate that. I wouldn't know because I haven't seen others' member sections. So I appreciate that. Ripple has minted a total of 350,000 RLUSD stablecoins within a 24-hour period. What is the link to the Discord? It's in the member section. So it's directly connected to the channel membership. So you join the channel membership and you have direct access to the Discord. $3 a month for the channel membership. So not only is it a Discord, but members only videos, members only post, Marcus, do you have a quote unquote regular 9-to-5 job? I do not. I was called to leave my last one, which was the military, at the end of 2022. Then I actually tried to go back into the regular workforce a year ago actually paid money to get my resume done, because the military to civilian resume is like a specific thing. So I paid money to get that done. And it was crazy how nothing was working. I mean, I was being connected to hiring managers by personally known mutual friends. Like, so I'm directly being connected. They say it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? I'm multiple jobs directly connected to the person who does the hiring. Hearing positive things. Oh, they read your resume. They love it. You'll be hearing from them soon. Radio silence, nothing. And eventually I said, okay, Lord, because the Lord told me before I left the army, invest in what I tell you. You won't have to work a regular job again. But things were getting tight last year. I'm like, Lord, but it just wasn't working. So I was like, okay. And that's when I started doing YouTube, putting more into YouTube. And I've seen some fruits from that. I don't make a living wage from YouTube, but I have multiple streams of income. And I'm blessed to have a friend who is allowing me to stay here right now. So that's how this is all working out. The Lord provides, Is it an old book? No, it's not old. If we can't cash out, I hope the Ripple stablecoin. Can Coinbase cash out entirely? There's a daily withdrawal limit. You can't imagine me being a poker player. I mean, it was years ago, it was like right out of high school. That's actually why I dropped out of college, because I was spending too much time playing poker. I was on an academic scholarship at college, and I just got caught up in poker. And I read one book. One book took me from a losing poker player to a winning poker player. And so I prayed a couple weeks ago. I said, Lord, I feel like you're leading me to trading and trading options. So I want one book to do the same thing. What is one book I can read where it'll make me a profitable trader? And I started searching. Obviously, I'm in the spirit. Next thing you know, I'm reading an introduction to a book on trading options. And he says the strategy he uses, he got while he was sitting in church. And he was blessed with it by a download while he was sitting in church. I said, oh, well, thank you, Lord. This is clearly my book. So there's a little clue if you want to do some digging. And it's a highly rated book, many ratings, rated highly. And he got the strategy while he was sitting in church. So it's not like a obscure, random book. It's a lot of reviews on Amazon. Texas Hold'em is the best card game in the world. Yeah, I enjoyed poker. I enjoyed poker a lot. I can't play it now, though, just because the time consumption. But I enjoy poker. Yeah, he got the strategy while in service. This type of talk isn't for the religious spirit. Yeah, the legalistic religious. Hear me now. The legalistically religious person will never be wealthy. I got that yesterday. A legalistically religious person will never be wealthy. Or let me say Christian. A legalistically religious Christian will never be wealthy. Now, I'm very specific with the wording, legalistically religious, because we've come to use the word religious as a bad word. Religion is not bad. Religious is not a bad word. Scripture talks about religion. New Testament, unless your religion is, feeding the poor, caring for orphans and widows, then your religion is worthless, right? So what that means is religion is a good thing, but it has to be the right kind of religion, right? So I'm saying legalistically religious, right? You're a Christian, but you're putting yourself under the law. They don't go together. The law is good. The law is perfect, but there's liberty in Christ, right? All things are good for me, but not all things are wise for me. A Christian is actually called to maturity because it's no longer a matter of good or bad, right or wrong. It's a matter of wise or unwise. Is this wise for me to do? So when it comes to generating wealth, you have to engage with worldly systems. The Lord, in the parable of the talents, he speaks well of the ones who went and traded and earned a profit. And he calls the one who didn't wicked. A legalistically religious person cannot become wealthy. I'm sorry, legalistically religious Christian specifically. Rabbi Jonathan Kahn says the only time when shepherds would be out at night watching the flock would be in April, as that is their mating season. We need religion, a set of good practices, yes. 5 wise virgins, 5 unwise. Yeah. One of the prophetic words that led me to the wealth transfer, spring of 2021, a very frugal man, maybe the type of person I was just talking about, prophesied to me and told me, the Lord is going to show you a way to trust him with your money, but it's not going to be the standard, oh, I don't know how my rent is going to get paid, and then the day before rent is due, there's a random check in the mail. It's not going to be that type of testimony. He said he's going to show you a way to trust him with your money using world systems. And this is coming from a frugal man. This is coming from a man who wants nothing to do with that. So you know he's only purely telling me what the Spirit is saying. And so here we are, right? Talking about trading, talking about investing, talking about business, right? And some people get it, some people don't. You know, like I said, I don't know, was it in the bad audio live stream? I talked about, once I started offering one-on-one calls, I'm getting a couple of emails like, "Oh my gosh, are you going off the right path? Are you on the wrong path now?" I'm literally called to business years ago. I've known this for years. I'm literally called to business and ministry. No, I'm not on the wrong path. Okay. And it's just an offer. It's an offer. I'm not forcing anybody to have a one-on-one call with me. And I'm sure everybody who's had one with me will tell you they benefited from it. It's an exchange. You're helping me financially. I'm helping you with coaching, mentorship, consultation, whatever it is you booked for. It's an offer. It's an exchange. It's a trade. Business. That's why a religiously legalistic Christian will never be wealthy, because that's how they think. The first sign of you doing something wise to generate income and wealth, they're like, "Oh my God, that's the devil." Oh my. Like you're in the wealth transfer. It's crazy. It's funny to me. You're in the wealth transfer, and these are the limiting beliefs you have, right? Another thing I've received this week, the Jacob anointing, right? Now, I'm not one for buzzwords. I kind of get annoyed with these Christian buzzwords that go on, this anointing, that anointing, but it makes sense. The Jacob anointing. Jacob was a businessman. I want your daughter, so I'm going to work for you this number of years. I get your daughter in marriage, right? Bang, bang, boom, right? Jacob was a businessman. Esau comes, "Give me some of your stew. Let me get that birthright. I give you this, you give me that." Jacob was a businessman. Israel, was a businessman. You, I'm telling you, man, being legalistically religious is going to cause you to miss out on this so-called wealth transfer that you think you want. I'm telling you. Do you have class to teach beginners about crypto? Do you trade Forex or teach how to? Yeah, I just did a workshop last week, a 3-day workshop teaching literally that, teaching beginners how to trade crypto. 3-day workshop. You just missed it. I was going to do another one next week, but I think I'm just going to rest actually next week. In light of the feast and in light of how my body feels, and I do need to rest. But in light of the feast starting on the evening of October 2nd, sundown, I'm just going to be resting. So keep a lookout. I might do another workshop at the end of the month, but or I might just package the replays available for purchase on demand. But again, a lot of value in the workshop. 13 hours. The replays total 13 hours. A lot of value in that workshop. So yeah, be on the lookout. What's the title of the trading book? I'm not sharing that at the moment, brother. Money itself has gods all over it. It literally says in God we trust, and it's not God of the Bible. Yeah, money is spiritual. Money flows, right? That's why we need systems in place for when money comes in so it will flow to where it needs to go. Money will follow the path of least resistance. That's why it's so easy for you to waste your money on things that you like, because there's no resistance there. You're not exercising self-control. So your money is leaking out through this path of least resistance. You like shoes, you like clothes, you like food, whatever it is, right? So you got to put some resistance up. You got to have some systems. You got to budget. You got to know exactly where every dollar is going when it comes in. And that's one of the things I've learned in Goshen, the Goshen group, Tomi's course, which I will be making a dedicated video about to give some updates on. But I did a calculation, and since I joined, my average monthly income has already increased 50% over the entire previous year. Before I joined, I calculated my income and my average monthly income, and I've calculated my average monthly income since I joined, and it is a 50% increase at this point. If you're interested, my personal joining link is there in the live chat, and I'll put it in the description. It's on my link tree as well, so if you just go to my link tree, it's there as well. But yeah, definitely worth, just genuinely telling you, definitely worth the monthly subscription price. Even though I joined out of obedience, it could be $300 a month. I would be paying it because it's clear to me the Lord told me to join this. But definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. So, and I'm live. I'm there every meeting. I'm there live with my camera on. So you'll see me. If you join, I'll actually be right there with you. Money itself has gods all over it. I read that already. Yeah, these are topics that are not considered Christian: crypto, business, trading. I mean, I don't even know. It's funny because the session in Goshen in our most recent meeting was wealth transfer. I've never even heard that phrase used since I joined Goshen. And our whole session was about the wealth transfer on Thursday. And one of the things he said was the wealth transfer is not for the churchgoer. That doesn't mean certain churchgoers won't participate, but there's a reason why when you tell people at your church and when you tell your pastors about the wealth transfer, it just goes over their head. It's not the entire body of Christ. This is your thing, because everyone's not receiving it, So it's not, hey, just because you're a Christian, hey, wealth transfer for you. People are preventing themselves. But it's also, like I said in the beginning, why do you need to be a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever? What's the purpose? If you don't even have a purpose tied to the wealth, why should you get the wealth? You know? So there are people who go to church faithfully, but they would have nothing to apply the wealth to begin with, right? The master called 3 servants and gave according to their ability. I think the master had more than 3 servants, but he called the 3 who could manage any type of money to begin with. He gave them 5, 3, and 1 talent. 1 talent is still a lot. 1 talent is still a year's wage. It's still a lot, right? So he didn't call 100 servants. He called 3. So the wealth transfer ain't for everyone. One last question. How do you get off of meat? What diet tips do you have? That's a great question because I'm actually doing my patented diet down method. That's a perfect question because I'm actually in the middle of it right now. So what I like to do, and I do this for fasting too, for easing into a fast, to make a fast easier, is every day I will remove 1 food group from my diet or 1 food item from my diet. So you can switch the items around based on your own leanings and what's harder for you to let go of and whatnot. So day 1, I get rid of sugar. No sweets, no desserts, no added sugar. Day 1. Day 2, I add to no sugar, no dairy. So day 2 is no sugar, no dairy. Day 3, no sugar, no dairy, no fried foods. Day 4, no sugar, no dairy, no fried foods, no breads, pastas, simple carbs. Day 5, no red meat. Day 6, pescatarian, so no white meat outside of fish. Day 7, vegetarian. Day 8, vegan, right? And then somewhere in there, maybe day 9 or maybe before that, and push a couple of the last days forward, I'll get rid of caffeine. But I save caffeine more as a last thing because it's one of the things that's going to be harder for me to let go of because I use it to sustain myself a little bit, probably a little too much. But and so I save it for the end because now I've built up a pattern of abstaining from things. I've built up a pattern over the course of a week or more now of self-control, of self-discipline. And so now it's going to be easier on day 8, day 9 to give up that difficult thing, So that's what I do. And it's worked very well for me. I've done that multiple times. I heard multiple words of famine. What do you think? Yeah. That's why I suggested investing in corn, wheat, oil, wine, agricultural stocks. Because as scarcity happens, those things go up in value. Do you observe the feast? Not exhaustively, thoroughly. I think this October I'm going to be mindful of them. I'm going to rest. The first feast, is it the Feast of Trumpets? Yeah. It says in scripture, it says, on the first day of the first month, you shall do no servile work. He says, treat it as a Sabbath. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to rest. Now, am I going to blow a shofar and, eat and drink and be merry and whatever is associated? I'm not going to go that far into it. And nothing wrong if you feel led to. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just don't feel led to do that right now. But I don't think it's a bad thing to observe the feast. I'm going to be mindful of the feast. I love that insight. Money flows in the path of least resistance. Have systems in place so it doesn't flow out. Yeah. I got that from Goshen. I can't take credit for that. I got that from the Goshen group. All that wealth in heaven may offend some. Streets of gold, mansions, gems, diamonds, etc. Yeah. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it weren't so, I wouldn't have told you. Right? Like, I don't know, man. Yes, we need to guard against greed and obviously some negative things associated with wealth, of course. But some people treat it as it's inherently bad, and it's like God is infinitely wealthy. This is where wealth comes from. This is where prosperity comes from. All right, Edgar. Recently in a dream, God told me, do not eat sugar anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, Nancy. Sugar is, it's funny because sugar is probably my worst thing, but, and that's why I give it up on day one, because it's not necessarily hard to give up. And it's probably the most detrimental thing in a diet anyway. We have way too much sugar in our diets. And so that's always my day one. When I start dieting down, day one, no sugar. I love sweets. I understand. Yeah. What time are we at? 9. So hour and a half? No, 2.5 hours, right? Yeah, 2.5 hours, just about. Well, y'all, this has been fun. I think we're done. I think we're done here. I pray you all have a good evening. I'll probably chop this up into the segments. I'll probably the China segment. I'll probably chop it up, put it in its own video. The storms, the cryptos. Um, but yeah, Harry said another hour. No, I'm tired. But yeah, thanks. I actually did think this was going to be pretty long. But it went a little quicker than I thought. But the engagement with the chat at the end here has extended it. Be on the lookout for the Caleb and Brown video. A lot of good info in that, so be ready for that. Be on the lookout for, like I said, I'm going to release segments of this longer live stream because I know certain people won't even click on a video when they see it's 2 hours. And I think that's all I really plan. Like I said, I'm going to be resting, starting the evening of the 2nd. I think I need to be treating, the end of next week for rest. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Thank you, Wande. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. Be blessed. God bless you. Have a good day or night wherever you're at, and talk to you soon.